She was tired of her dull life. She craved adventure and learning. What's that? An invitation to be the leader of a secret club, the Wanderers Club. A wanderer's quest isn't always easy. But with persistence, and courage, amazing things can happen. Welcome to the Wanderers Club.
Okay, friends, are you ready to take the Wanderer's Pledge? I can't hear you. You're gonna have to tell me louder. Are you ready to take the Wanderer's Pledge? Yes, you are. Put 3 fingers up to make a W, and let's start at the beginning. A wanderer's mind and spirit roam around the world back to their home. Let's get learning. Welcome everyone to the bi-monthly meeting of the Wanderers Club. I'm so happy to see you again. I'm your lively and lovable leader, Mrs. Mrs. Wingo. I've been playing a lot of video games lately. I'm basically a professional gamer now. So professional that I invented my own video game. I wonder, for our meeting today, would you test it out for me?
Yes.
You would? Thanks. Okay, so my whole video game is about telling and writing time in hours and half hours using analog and digital clocks. To give you a little background, analog clocks can look like this.
Analog clocks have the numbers 1 through 12 on the face or surface and have 2 bars that move around the face called hands. The shorter hand tells the hour and the longer hand tells the minute. As the minute hand moves all the way around the clock, the hour hand moves slowly to the next hour. For half hours, the hour hand is halfway between 2 numbers.
And digital clocks can look like this.
Digital clocks also tell time. They show the hour and the minute side by side. The hour and minute are separated by a colon or 2 dots. The number before the colon is the hour, and the number after the colon represents the minutes.
Now you're ready for level 1, sorting analog and digital clocks. As the clocks wiggle, put your hands up like this if it's an analog clock, and put your hands on your head like this if it's a digital clock, so you can sort them. Ready? Start.
The first clock that wiggles reads 9:30. What type of clock is it? Put your hands up for an analog clock or put your hands on your head if it's a digital clock. Yes, it's a digital clock. You can tell by the way the hour and minutes are shown with the colon in between. Great work! Let's try the next one. Is it an analog clock or a digital clock? That's right, it's an analog clock, and you can tell by the 12 numbers on the clock face and the hour and minute hands. Let's keep going. What type of clock is this? Yes, it's a digital clock. What about this one? Correct, it's an analog clock.
Wow, you did great! Now for level 2. In level 2, you're going to match the hour shown on the analog clock to the hour shown on the digital clock. Ready? Start!
Look at the analog clock on the left. Which digital clock does it match? Clock 1, clock 2, or clock 3? Yes, it matches clock 2. The hour hand on the analog clock is pointing right at the 10, and the minute hand is pointing right at the 12, which means it is exactly 10 o'clock. That's written digitally as 10:00. Let's read the next analog clock. What do you notice about the minute hand on this clock? The minute hand is pointing right at the 12, which means it's going to be an O clock, and digitally, that will show a colon and then 2 zeros behind it. What do you notice about the hour hand? It is also pointing right at the 12. Since both the hour and the minute hand are pointing at the 12, we know for sure it's 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock is written as 12:00. Good work.
Way to beat that level! Level 3 is very similar to level 2, but you're going to match the half hour shown on the digital clock to the half hour shown on the analog clock. Ready? Start!
What is the time on the first digital clock? Yes, 9:30. Which analog clock shows the minute hand on the 6 to represent a half hour or 30 minutes? They all do. Which analog clock shows the hour hand halfway past the number 9? Clock 1, clock 2, or clock 3? Clock 1 seems to have the hour hand halfway past the 9 and the minute hand on the 6 to show 30 minutes. That looks like it's right. Which analog clock matches the time 5:30? Is it clock 1, clock 2, or clock 3? Yes, it's clock 3. We see the minute hand on the 6 to represent 30 minutes, and the hour hand is halfway between the 5 and the 6.
Congratulations, you made it to level 4. On this level, you need to guide your player to jump on the parts of the analog clock needed to show the time given digitally. You'll choose the hour hand first and then choose the minute hand. I'll talk you through it. Ready? Start.
Which hour hand do you need to make 11:30? Is it clock 1, clock 2, clock 3, or clock 4? Let's make the player jump on clock 3. Why did you choose clock 3? I heard you say you chose clock 3 because the hour hand was halfway between the 11 and 12. If we're trying to make 11:30, that hour hand has to be halfway in between. Now for the minute hand. Which minute hand do you need to make 11:30? You chose clock 2 to make 30 since it's pointing at the 6, which represents 30 minutes on a clock. Let's see if you were right. Success! Which hour hand do you need to make 6 o'clock? Is it clock 1, clock 2, clock 3, or clock 4? I heard you say clock 1 because the hour hand is pointing directly at the 6. Now for the minute hand. Which minute hand do you need to make 6 o'clock? Do you need clock 1 or clock 2? You chose clock 1 to make 6 o'clock since it's pointing at the 12, and that represents the o'clock. Let's see if you were correct. Success! You made the correct clock.
For the boss level, that's the last level for those of you new to video games. You're going to need something to write with. I'm not sure how this will work when the game is played in real life, but I think the player will have a stylus or something to write with. Hey, I'm still in video game development here. For the boss level, you'll need to write the time shown on the analog clock like you would see it on the digital clock. Ready? Start.
The analog clock shows the hour hand halfway past the 4 and the minute hand on the 6, so I know the time must be 4:30. 4:30 written digitally looks like this: 4:30 for the hour and the minutes. The hour hand is halfway between the 6 and the 7. The minute hand is on the 6. That means the time is 6:30. Did you write the time like that? Excellent. On to the next one. The minute hand is on the 12, and the hour hand is exactly on the 1. That makes it 1 o'clock. You got it correct.
Excellent work, Wanderers. Congratulations on beating the game. You were able to tell and write time in hours and half hours on an analog clock and a digital clock. Thanks for testing out my game for me. Oh, guess that means game over. Until next time, keep wondering. Bye!